2001 Dodge Durango. So what's going on with it is in when the temperature outside is cold, it runs great. When the temperature outside is warm or hot, it's really hard to keep it running. It dies and stalls out and all that. Well, so I have discovered the problem. I noticed that my intake gaskets were leaking a little bit, so I changed those. I almost have it all the way back together. I just wanted to show you before I continued on. So, as you can see here, I kind of got it torn apart. I'm getting it put back together. Just got the throttle body back on, the intake, fuel rail, new spark plugs. I just bought this truck, so for me, it's all new. I've worked on these trucks many times, but this is a new vehicle to me. But the problem is, my flashlight's kind of dying here, but if you look on this is a 4.7 liter, by the way. Look on the very front of the engine, and I see that hole in the middle with the two bolt holes there. That is for your MAP sensor, also known as your manifold absolute pressure sensor. So then right there is the coolant temperature sensor. Here's the plug-in for the MAP sensor. Looks like that. How you unplug it is you just push this down and pull out at the same time. And it always helps to, when you just change the MAP sensor, it helps to get the whole entire wire harness out of the way. So unplug the temp sensor as well, same thing, push down, pull out, and just kind of move that harness out of the way. But the issue is, the MAP sensor, if it's not sealing properly or not working correctly, it's not going to, it's going to allow it to run like crap. But what I discovered with mine is the sensor is working just fine. But I was gonna, possibly change it just in case. I wasn't sure. Well, here's the old MAP sensor. I mean, it works just fine, but when I went to pull it out, one of the two bolts was missing, and it's not on here now. Let's see if we can find it. But the O-ring was kind of half gone. Okay, there's the O-ring. So here is the O-ring for it. There's only half of it there, so it wasn't sealing properly. What I did is I just went ahead and bought another one just to be safe. But the bolts that hold it in, if you have both bolts, are these little Torx heads. Little guys. I'm just going to replace both of mine simply because one was missing and I'd rather just put two new ones in. The size it is, let's see here, I got my little Torx bit out here. It's a Torx 25. T25, if you can see that. There we go. I just use my Torx driver there. Sometimes they're stubborn, so you got to use a ratchet and Torx bit. But here is the new sensor. It's a BWD brand. I bought it from Advanced Auto Parts. Part number is EC1751. It's the manifold absolute pressure sensor. We're going to open this up and see what she all comes with. Fortunately, it doesn't come with new bolts, so I did have to get a new one, so I had to buy them separately. Here it is. Here's the new sensor. See the blue O-ring on there? It's all the way on. But, that's what we wanted. So, the bolts, I had to buy a 4-pack here. They're M4 by 0.75 by 16 millimeters long. This is the exact size of the factory bolts, just with a different head. Just got the hex head. These are Dorman. The part number for these is 780-016N as in Nancy. Can't really see it. Kind of see the N and really small there. Sorry, my camera kind of sucks today, but that's the size you need. You can buy these at pretty much any part store that sells Dorman bolts. Most of them have them. And then if you do have a part store that sells Dorman, they'll actually, if you don't remember the size, they'll usually have things there for you to test, see which thread it is. I'm gonna find out here real quick before I pick you back up exactly what size the head is here. There we go. So the size of the head is a 7 millimeter bolt. So I'm just gonna grab my socket or extension just to start them out. But I'm just gonna show you how to put it in. I should have made this video first, but I didn't. It's gonna sit in there just like that. Just put it in the hole and just kind of clip it in. Set this down. I don't want to lose this stuff here. Okay, so we're gonna try to set up the flashlight here for you. Just gonna lean it up so we can kind of see what's going on. This flashlight has a magnet on it, and it does not want to be cooperative with me today. There we go. Better. So we're gonna put this little bolt in there. I gotta kind of line up the bolt holes a little bit better. There we go. I want to just start the threads on it. So that we don't lose that bolt or anything like that. And I just dropped my bolt. Yeah, that's what happens to me sometimes. There we go. Little flashlight magnet comes in handy sometimes. I'm just gonna set that aside so we don't lose it. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of try to get this started here. We can get it in most of the way. We should be good. It's kind of tricky to get it out of here. Sometimes it's a lot easier with the hex head bolts, but I wasn't able to, or not the hex head, the Torx bit bolts. Wasn't able to find new ones, when I needed them. Was kind of in a hurry. But I think, what happened with the map sensor is maybe I think somebody tried to replace it. They said that I was told that before they decided to sell it, after some repairs were done, ran like crap, and nobody was able to figure out why. And I'm pretty much guessing this was the repair. Said it sat for about 6 months before they decided to sell it. Yeah, so I think what had happened is somebody tried a DIY repair there and couldn't really get it. So they decided to set you down here. So they decided just to get rid of it because they didn't want to deal with it, which, I mean, it can be frustrating. Don't get me wrong, if, it doesn't want to go the way you want it to. I've been there, but, it's, in my opinion, it's not a real reason to sell a vehicle if you can't get it figured out. I mean, sometimes it just takes some research and whatnot, and you get to learn new stuff and figure it out. A lot of times, that's the job. You gotta be able to figure out what's going on with it. It's not gonna you're not gonna be able to figure it out right away all the time. That's why it takes someone that's skilled in diagnostic work to figure it out. Worst case, I mean, if you really have that much troubles with it, there's shops will diagnose it for you. Shops will charge you a diagnostic fee and diagnose the problem for you, and only fix it if you want them to. So you can ask a shop to diagnose your issue. But, sorry, my garage is a mess right now. But you have to be willing to, allow them to diagnose it. And a reputable shop, they have no problem diagnosing a vehicle, get you a fix to the problem, but you just have to allow them to, I'm not saying necessarily you have to go to a dealer every time, you need a professional diagnostic. There's lots of shops that are around that are, locally owned, and the little guys. There's lots of little guys out there that, are great at what they do. Man, I'm a small shop. I'm not, a big giant shop or nothing like that. I've been doing this for quite some time, yes, but it doesn't mean, I'm no good at what I do. It's just a lot of people, believe that only a dealer is going to be able to solve their problems. Which, I mean, to each their own. Everybody has their own things on it, but it is what it is. I don't own a dealership, and I'm not a dealer, and I seem to be able to figure stuff out. I'm not saying that I can figure it out immediately right away, but there's lots of times I can. And I'm not saying that I'm dumb or I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a pretty smart guy, and I do know what I'm doing, especially when it comes to, fixing cars. I've been doing this for some time now. Some people, look at me and they're like, hey, you're young, you don't know what you're doing, and it's just like, I may be young, but it doesn't exclude me from the knowledge that I have fixing cars. There's a reason why I own my own business, but that's neither here nor there. You know, everybody has the right to their own opinion and stuff. But yeah, anyways, enough of my rambling there. My point is, don't be ignorant. You can't figure it out, take it in another shop. I'm not gonna lie, I've had to send people somewhere else to see if another shop can figure it out. I mean, it happens. Not everybody's, perfect or anything like that. But yeah, if you're changing these bolts and you're putting regular hex head bolts in there like I am, which is fine. Just make sure that you use 1/4 inch because with such tight quarters that you don't have a lot of space here. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot easier to put this on with the intake off. But you can do it with the intake being on. I'm not saying, you have to do an intake job like I did. I only did an intake job because the intake gaskets were leaking. So I did, that's why I did an intake job. So don't do, you don't have to do unnecessary repairs. I do firmly believe in preventative maintenance, but if you don't have to do them, why do them? So here is the new map sensor installed. And once you get to this point, it's easiest to plug in the temp sensor and then plug in the map sensor, and voila, it's all installed. And there's new shiny bolts. We're good to go. So yeah, I wanted to just show you guys that and explain to you what caused this issue. I hope this helps out. I wasn't unable to find any other videos or anybody with an explanation to this. I do know, from experience that I have seen this in other vehicles, especially like Chevy trucks and, so forth and so forth. But this can cause the issue. It's not always the cause, but it can cause it. And a lot of times if it's not this, it can also be a leaking intake where the intake is sucking in too much air. But hopefully this helps, and I hope you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.